Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk custom fuel tanks. What's all the hype? I've got off the shelf. Why do I need that? All those questions and more answered. Stick around. Okay, if you're familiar with my channel, you know I installed a 3.2-ish gallon tank for the 2023 Iron Boat Rally. During my testing, everything worked fine. I didn't really incur any problems. I had heard that there was an issue during extreme heat where the fuel wouldn't transfer. I didn't understand that, but I experienced it. So if you're familiar with my Iron Boat Rally recap, you'll know what I'm talking about. So there was one other issue that I had with the tank, and that's based on design. I had talked to this gentleman, Lincoln Seals from Seals Custom Fabrication, before. He had 3 of these exact tanks in the IVR. I know those riders. I looked at their tanks, and when I got back, I reached out to Lincoln. I said, okay, I'm ready. Let's get this tank going. So let's talk about it. So when I reached out to Lincoln Seals, and you can contact him through Facebook, he responds quickly, promptly, professionally, and he answered all my questions. I talked to him for, gosh, a year? I think I reached out to him last year during RAT, which is the Ride Around Texas, and that's in September. So it's been almost a year that I went off and on talking to the guy. He never caught attitude. I'm sure he thought this guy's never gonna buy something from me, but he always answered my questions promptly, professionally. So when I said, okay, I'm ready to buy this tank, he told me that he had most of the pieces cut out and ready, and it would be a couple weeks. My off-the-shelf tank took more than a couple weeks. So 3 or 4 or 5 days later, I started getting pictures of the update and the progress being made. Unbelievable. That's customer service you never get. So what do you get? This is his design. He calls it a wedge tank, and it's designed for the GSA based on the volume. I will say quickly that he's made other tanks. I think he's got one for an RT and maybe a K-bike, but he's got 4 of these that I know of. There could be a lot more, but I know 3 other riders that have it, and I make 4. When you get this tank, you get everything you need. You get fuel line fittings, fuel line, all the bolts. You need nothing. He sends you detailed instructions how to install it. Simple. It fit perfectly. Nothing was needed. So, to install it, I removed the passenger pillion seat and the rear grab bar. The bottom plate, hard to see, but the bottom plate bolts straight to the bike with some spacers that he made and the bolts. The tank bolts in 4 spots to that place. There's one here, and these 2. And then this plate mounts on top. Now, out of the 3 in the Iron Boat Rally, 2 of them mounted their top box straight on top of this. This plate, it's got a bunch of holes, and you can do whatever you want. You could throw a duffel bag up there, anything you want. This plate is nice aluminum, fits perfectly, looks great. Mount anything you want on there. I chose a different option. I'll show you that here in a minute, but he did everything I asked for him, and it fits perfectly. Now, what's my advantage? So in my off-the-shelf tank, when I set here, it's round and it sits here. Let me show you a picture just so you understand. I was a little restricted as far as how much I could lean back. This has a taper design, which means I have more room to lean back. And if I'm about mounting my top box, I can mount it wherever I want. Or if you don't run a top box, you can lean back quite a bit. So it allows more airflow to you. Now, one of the issues I had during the Iron Boat Rally was the tank took direct heat, and it caused it to start pushing air instead of drawing. So it was essentially looked like it was boiling, but it was just pushing air into it. So having a plate and or a top box on top is going to eliminate direct sunlight. so I think it's going to be better. Also, the filler neck. So on my off-the-shelf tank, the filler neck is in the center. On the center stand, I never incurred a problem. But what happens when the bike's leaning to the side? Let me show you what I'm talking about. With this tank, on the center stand, it feels like this, no problem. When it's on the side stand, now it becomes a problem. You can't fill it completely. It's not bad, but still, you can't fill it completely. With Lincoln's design, with the filler neck being on the side, when it's over, I can still fill the tank completely. I can tell you that he worked with the Iron Butt Association to make sure the size and the volume and design has been approved by the Iron Butt Association. So I will have no problems. He sent fuel line fittings. He sent 3 different ones depending on how I wanted to run the fuel line. He sent fuel line. He sent every single thing. So let's take a closer look. Again, Seals Custom Fabrication. Find him on Facebook. Look at those welds, pretty welds. He sent me updates the whole time to include the pressure testing. It's got a catch tank for the overflow. It is serial numbered with the gallons engraved in it. Beautiful. Now, one of the other issues that I think this tank is going to solve for me was center stand. So with the off-the-shelf tank, it's mounted right here, and the top box is further back. Now, when I rode the bike, I didn't have any issues at all. Didn't notice it, didn't notice the weight. But when it's sitting on the center stand, I get on the bike after I fueled it up, and I would just kind of rock forward, and off I went. I wanted my top box removable. I went with the GV. It released really quick, and I had all my electronics in there, and I thought I could carry it into the hotel and it would be very simple. If you're familiar with my Iron Butt recap, you know that didn't work for me, but it is what it is. I couldn't change it in the middle of the rally. So the weight of that top box was 16 pounds. This Pelican case is far less. With the Pelican case on top, I'm gonna keep it from taking direct sunlight. That's gonna make a big difference. With the weight being centered, I expect it to make a big difference. I mounted a pad because I had it right here. It's gonna allow me to lean back. So it gives me a little cushion, and it gives me the ability to relax a little bit more. So this whole design works well. And again, you can mount any size box, bag, whatever you want. He just leaves you a very simple plate on the top. So this is gonna work very well, I think. One other rider in the IBR had a plate that allowed your top box to be mounted, and it's a quick release. I mentioned that I wanted that done, and he graciously said he would do that at no extra cost. Let me show you that. Now this rack has a puck design, and it allows the pucks on the bottom to insert. It slides back, and then they lock into place. So you can take the top box on and off super quick, and you're left with this. So again, if you want to take your top box off or not run it at all, you're left with that. Super clean, super fast. And again, he did that at no extra charge. We got some custom engraving on the fuel cap. The attention to detail and his welds are superior. Man, it is perfect. I don't want to powder coat it. I don't want to hide it. I want to show those welds. That's with the top box mounted. He made the risers, he did all that stuff. Looks great, functions well. Again, if you're interested, reach out to Seals Custom Fabrication on Facebook. He'll do you right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Be safe.